this is actually a thank you to the XMC family, the ex-military criminal family on YouTube, and a few others for helping me out in a rough time. For those who know, I was out of work for almost 2 years. I do stream, which is what you're watching in the background. I figured we'd want a little something in the background. I did mute it. Hopefully that's showing up okay for you guys. But I want to send the link to the stream to everybody else. And what is the best way for me to do this since I don't have my YouTube up? You know what? Let's just pop up the YouTube then. I don't really look anything up on my on this PC, so even if I had something embarrassing, it wouldn't be there. You may hear me double echo for a second. I don't really look anything up on my on this PC, right, so even if I had something embarrassing, it wouldn't be there. You may hear me double echo for a second. There's my share button. I don't really look anything up on my on this PC, right, so even if I had something embarrassing, it wouldn't be there. You may hear me double echo for a second. Okay, so what we're gonna do, and it's gonna be interesting. I got my other PC on the other side, but my Discord's on this one, so let me at Janice real quick. She runs pretty much everything for XMC on his Discord. I wanted to make sure I add her because I'm putting the link for the video there. It would be rude to just, even though they have the shared links and everything, it'd still be rude, but she said to remind her also. And let me send a few out to a couple on Discord on, excuse me, Desiree, Mimi, I'll send it to Janice on her separate thing too, just so she knows. She's a busy person. It may come up as a question about the glasses. No, I don't wear glasses. These are the blue light glasses to block out some of the blue light because, well, my eyes don't like the computer light, and that's fine. That's fine. And let me see. I do got one more set of people. This one you'll actually see the invites because I have to go here and here. This is my gaming group, GDZ. That's that's my gaming page. You see Tymeonnmyside, GDZ Gaming Fam on Facebook. I'm Time to Die, spelled sort of the same way up here. One word, Time to Die, T-O. So TYMETODIE on Twitch, and obviously Tymeonnmyside here. I'm going to send them the link. And like I said, I just thought it'd be interesting to have this in the background. That's the pop out, right? I don't want the pop out. No, I don't want that. This is the pop out one, isn't it? Yeah, I don't like the pop out. No. I could do this and then do that. So I'm back onto the screen. And then you guys won't get two of my avatars either. This is not what I'm really good at. This is not my specialty. So if I look like a fool, I probably am a fool. I'm such a fool, I didn't even get my PayPal link. I am running a PayPal fund. This is how most have been helping me. Rolling Dirty 420, I've helped him in the past with things like controllers and stuff. So him and his lady were nice enough to send me some on Cash App. They made me open a Cash App because she can't use PayPal. So I got a Cash App too, which I had opened a long time ago, but I couldn't get it to link with my bank. I finally was able to get it to link with my bank, so we're good there. But let me get I'm going to put the link in the description here while I can. And I'll probably read off a few of the names. I think that would only be appropriate, a few of the names of some of the people, to make sure they get their props. It's only fair. Okay, I got my PayPal link in there. The Cash App, I just showed the name. It's not really the link. And then the PayPal, I actually have a link, which, since I am here, I got that muted? Yes, I do. Let me go to my videos. I want to see what it looks like because I've never done that before. I'm learning from a guy, a wonderful World of Stuff. He also has a YouTube channel. Awesome editing, dude. He has some of the best editing I've ever seen. But yes, the link is there in my description, so that's nice. As you can tell, I'm only up to 27 subscribers, so obviously I can't do monetization in that fashion. So if for some reason you do feel the need to give, the Cash App name is there, which is just the money sign and then my name, Tymeonnmyside, and then my PayPal fund, which I'm running, which hopefully at some point I'll get to it, not having to do anything. Desiree's here. So I actually got to give a special shout out to Desiree because she's the one who's actually giving quite the most. But she's also the one who sort of talked me into accepting the fact that I need help. Don't be ashamed to ask that you need help. I've never had to get help before in my life, so it's always sort of bothered me to be able to ask. But I have given a lot, so I guess I could look at it that way and think, okay, well, I guess karma's starting to pay me back finally a little bit. I'm getting help from real good friends, Desiree being one of them. Right now there's me and you, Des. It'll pick up in a second. I know my friends from see, this is something I'm still trying to learn too. Oh, that's how you do it, right? I can do it from here. Pin message, report, remove, blah blah blah. Put user timeout. No, I don't want to do any of that. Add moderator. There we go, Desiree. You should be blue. And Janice, don't feel obliged to do anything here, but I'm just going to put you one because you were the one nice enough to let me put up the link. So don't feel like you have to do anything. This is just a show of appreciation. So we got Janice. She runs sort of the XMC day-to-day stuff. She's sort of like his, you can see me messing with cables and stuff, guys. I'm on my bed. If you haven't noticed, it's my headboard behind me. I actually stream from my bed when I'm gaming. Like I said, in the background, what you see is that's my gaming page. So that's what you're actually seeing behind us. I'm not playing right now, but I figured I'd play something in the background. And again, just so you guys know, these aren't real glasses. I got 20/10 vision, but I got blue light. I wanted the blue light stuff. Oh, yeah, and Janice was the one who shared off my PayPal originally, and a few people came in almost immediately, which was cool. I wonder, is there a way... Hello, and yeah, the COVID thing, that's why I lost my job April 10th, 2020. Well, that was through COVID, and unfortunately, I live in California, which we locked down more than most states, and it was near impossible to get a job unless you wanted to work at a gas station, which really wouldn't have paid the amount of money I needed to pay off bills and take care of my son, which was the big reason I went ahead and did certain things. I got a son to deal with. I got to make sure he's got his medical. Thankfully, he doesn't have a lot of medical issues. He did have asthma growing up, but it seems to have gone away. But I didn't want him eating top ramen every day. I was just trying to figure out if there was a way to make the chat bigger over here. Pop out chat. Looks like I can pop it out, so maybe I can make it bigger on the pop out. Because I don't need to see the video as much. Yeah, it looks a little bigger there. So, what I'm going to do here, this is sort of a thank you to start off with. Before I look at the chats, let me do this. Let's go. I'm going to my PayPal account. And So Desiree and her boyfriend, uh, they were like the top donor. They've donated quite a bit to me. There's quite a few in here that they go under anonymous. I know who they are, but I'm gonna guess the reason they stayed under anonymous is they didn't want to be named, so I won't name who they are. Dustin Meredith also, he sent a big whopping 50 right out. He was like the first person to send after Desiree. So uh, I mean, it is really appreciated. I mean, I didn't even try to ask for a whole lot. I said 500. We were up to 230, and there's still 17 days left. But it did help a lot. Let's just put it this way. Friday, I actually had a cop came up to my car, wondering why I was in my car, and gave him the spiel because I was going to stay there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday because I didn't have gas money to get home. And the cop went in, he checked my plates, my license like he should. You know, he's trying to make sure I'm not lying and a vagrant. I showed him my work badge too, and he had $10 on him, and he gave me $10, and that was enough to get home. Gas is so expensive out here in California. It's in the Bay Area. It's $4.95 average. It's almost $5 a gallon. It's a little cheaper up here, so I prefer to try to get it up here. It's about $4.41. You know, that's every 2 gallons I'm saving $1, so I try to get it up here. Um, yeah, I'm doing much better, Janice. And I like to work, and I may Saturday because we do sort of work weekends, like we're on call and stuff. Because it is medical facilities working with like Stanford Valley Healthcare, and I think the other one's UHA or UAH. I get the initials mixed up. But there's the emergency services in Hollister. They got a helicopter that goes off their hospital because they're in a very spread out area, so they have a helicopter. Well, that helicopter needs very specific help, so they need to make sure their printers and stuff that keep the schedules and everything are working all the time. Hollister's only 40 miles away from me, so hopefully I'm not driving 100 miles one way and 100 miles the other way every day anymore. Um, because I said, hey, I'll do it. I live real close to them. Um, you can put me there, and then I can be on call there perfect throughout the weekend, no problem, because it takes me about 30, 40 minutes to get there max. It's like I said, it's only about 40 miles. But yeah, basically, yeah, Desiree, you would know. It's about $5 a gallon because Desiree doesn't live too far away from me. She's only a couple hours away, uh, south of me, and it's like crazy. Yeah, I hope I get that Hollister one, Janice. It's huge for me. Uh, but I got a text back, and I think it was my boss's boss that says you got it. If you hear that, that's just my phone giving notifications. She said you got it, and I said I'll go wherever you need me because I like to work. As much as I'll bitch about work, which is sort of typical, I guess, it's like I actually like to work, so there's no problem there. I don't know why my video stopped playing on that. Let me get it to play so you guys can at least see something in the background. I have it muted, so it shouldn't affect the sound. If it does, just let me know in chat. So I see there's 4 people or 3 people viewing. So I know Janice and Desiree, and the third might be me, even though I'm signed in. It usually doesn't show me. Yeah, it's devastating. $5 a gallon, and we all know why. And I'm not the guy who usually gets political on my YouTube so much um, when I'm gaming. Now my YouTube's changing. It's going to change to more of a history type channel. I'm going to be doing guns from World War II next. If you look on there, I did an interview. There's a pilot that was my grandfather's pilot for a Marauder B-26 medium bomber, and he had done an interview, and I read off the whole interview. So the rest of my stuff's going to be more like that. I'm going to be doing guns next. So all the various countries, which are more than the ones you think, because there's a lot of countries that were involved in World War II. I'm going to do each section. My first one's going to be on Japan with guns. I'm not going to go over every single gun, because a lot of guns, there's, number one, there's a lot of guns. But number two, a lot of guns are the same as the other one. It's just an upgrade from the other one. So I'll mention what the lower grade one was if I'm, say, on their Ariska might say, well, the Ariska blah 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 was the predecessor, and this is what it started from. But yeah, that's what I'm switching to. I'm better at that, and I'll be having that written out. Like this is all done. You see me playing my games in the background. I'm weird. Uh, I'm not sure why it's not showing the game moving on stream though. That's really weird. Here, let me. I think I have an idea why. For some reason it doesn't like it under the pop out, huh? It doesn't matter. We'll play it like that. See if that works. I just want something in the background so you guys aren't looking just at me. It would really look sort of funny. There we go. It's playing in the background. For those who don't know, yeah, I do game on Facebook and game on Twitch. I used to game on here, but growing a community on YouTube for gaming is a lot more difficult than the other platforms. My thing on here is pretty high. You'll probably see some pretty bad games of me playing right now because I'm using items that I'm not very good with, but I needed to complete, like these hatchets. But I am ranked really high in the world for objective-based stuff. So just so you know, I'm like 0.1% of the world, top of the world for capturing, defending, kills on, stuff like that. And my win ratio is really, really high. So let me see here. Since this is a Q&A, I'm trying to keep an eye on chat a little bit better. Oh, Katai's here. Hey, how's it going? Oh, Minnie's here. Hey, what's up, Mayo Man? Unlike some people, I don't hate mayo. I don't eat it on many things. Like I only like a little bit, and maybe I like on a ham sandwich, and it would just be ham bread and a small layer of mayo. It's nice to see you guys here. So this is a Q&A. If you guys have questions for me, so we're gonna play it sort of like truth and dare. You guys are gonna ask me questions, or you're gonna ask me to do certain things, and if I'm capable of doing it, I'll do it. If I'm not capable of doing it, then I'll let you know. But I'm pretty much an open book. I don't hide anything about my life. I'm just an old man. So Desiree, Katai, Meanie. I'm just gonna call you Manny because every time I try to say Meanie, it just doesn't sound right. It's like I can't pronounce it properly or something. Yeah, he's my Mayo guy. And this for everybody who doesn't know, Rolling Dirty 420 right there. That is the co-owner of my clan, GDZ. It's me and him. We've been playing since Advanced Warfare. Like me and him argue like brothers, though. So a lot of people will think we're mad at each other. For like 2 seconds, we'll be mad at each other, okay? It's just like being family members. So if you ever hear us playing and you hear us arguing, don't worry about it. In 2 seconds, we'll be over and on to the next thing. Especially when it comes to Fortnite, because I'm not very good. He's actually pretty good. Like I can't build for shit on it. I'm pretty good at shooting, but I just can't build for shit on it. And he's really good at building. And his awareness is a little better. But he's played a lot more seasons than me, too. So this is the group from XMC. They're Dirty. Janice, Katai, Manny, Desiree. I made Desiree and Janice mods also because, well, Desiree's the one that's donated quite a bit. And she's the one that got me to accept to have to do it because I just... Dirty knows I have a hard time accepting help. Like I said, he's known me for quite a while. And I've been able to help him out with gaming stuff, but I don't think I've ever had to help him out with something this serious. Meanie, by the way, Manny there, Dirty. He's I believe a former Marine. He's out in New York, so he deals with the same communism I do, I guess, in Florida or California. Excuse me, I'm in California. And Janice, yeah, dude, thanks for coming in, hon. I mean, it means a lot that you did all that for me too. She shared out the original link for my PayPal thing and basically got the ball rolling on it. And she gets the ball rolling for a lot of XMC stuff too. So, but she has a busy life, so I'm happy that she was able to drop by. Aside from PayPal, is there another way you can donate? Yeah, I put it in the description. I guess the Cash App I have. That's the name of the Cash App. I would use my Venmo, but for some reason it has a hard time linking to my bank account. Like it'll accept it and then say it won't accept it. It's really weird. But yeah, in my description, if you look down where it says a thank you to XMC YouTube community and others, right under it, it has my Cash App name, which is the money sign and time on my side. But yeah, that's that. Those are the two ways, if you want to, but don't feel like you need to. Yeah, and I understand that, Dirty. And you know me, I've given to a lot of people and done a lot of things, like for Infidel, um, and I've helped you out with controllers and stuff. Like I said, it was never as serious for you. It wasn't like, dude, you had to feed your son or something like that week. I just knew he's a stay-at-home dad. He homeschools his son, um, and his lady works. And from what I understand, she's like a hard worker. She's like somebody I would hire to work for me type deal. Matter of fact, she reminds me a little bit of Janice, the way Janice is when it comes to her plants and stuff. Like she's on the ball, you know. Um, but yeah, ask me like questions. Heck, anything. It doesn't matter if it's what my birthday is, how many times I've been married, whatever. It doesn't matter. Um, yeah, dude. I just, and then I was, and I'm not gonna lie, I was forced to take it because where I work at is at the Stanford Hospital, and I mean they couldn't force me in the sense of saying, oh, we'll do this, this, and this, but what they could do is just not hire me. And well, I guess my son's well-being comes way before my own health. So let's put it that way. Um, yeah, and by the way, there's no restrictions on the speech that I have in here. So if anybody does get muted or anything like that, that's just like we say on XMC's channel. That's going to be Susan and them. That's not going to be my guys, Desiree and Janice. They know from being on XMC's channel, we don't go around muting people. Uh, Now, if I saw an actual death threat, something like that, yes, we're going to have some serious words, but you know what I mean. Like, pretty much treat this room like the First Amendment. If you're not harming anybody, actually harming or threatening to harm somebody with your speech, uh, I don't know what hate speech is, so don't think that. Yeah, fuck Susan. Meanie's like one of the funniest guys, man. You got a dirty. You'll like Manny right here. He just says whatever he wants to say. I forgot. I have to hit show on these ones, even though I don't have any communications blocked. But for some reason, I might have to go back through and see because I do. I have it edited per video, and because I ran the test before I got on. Okay, can we threaten the Taliban? Well, sort of. I would allow it, but I'm pretty sure Susan would pop her little head in. Look, and I've already told you guys. I've seen a picture of Susan. She's not an attractive woman. I will take one for the team if she stops banning people for basic free speech stuff. Yeah, we'll do it. I may need a lobotomy afterwards and some brain bleach and a few other things, but yeah, I will. I'll take one for you guys, especially after the help you guys have given, and not just monetarily, guys. By the way, because I know not everybody can give, but the whole, you know, for me, I'm very religious. Dirty knows this. We've had a lot of talks about religion. So just those people praying for me or wishing me well, those are huge for me because that's the mental side of struggling. There's the monetary side of this particular struggle, but there's a very thick mental side, and if you're not feeling uh, centered, I guess would be a good word. If you're not feeling in your place, in your zone, because I've always been able to work. I've been working since I was 8, doing lawns on the base, because you got to cut the lawn every year or every week, and it's got to be measured to a certain height. Manny would know this. Um, they have somebody who goes around every week, every Monday, and he's driving around looking at lawns, and he'll stop every so often and actually literally measure the grass. And I believe, was it a quarter inch? It couldn't be higher than a quarter inch. I can't remember. I think it was a quarter inch. So not very high. It was very trimmed grass, just like your hair. It was a high and tight on the grass too. Um, I don't feel any different than before. I just think it's BS. Yeah, and I know I got to sort of be careful my wording because of YouTube. I don't consider it a what you would call a traditional vaccine in the first place. Um, it if we got to keep getting boosters, not vaccines like you would get for a normal cold or flu vaccine, but if you got to keep getting boosters like this, it's more of a limiter because people are still catching uh, the coof. They're just getting less of the symptoms for it. Now, according to the doctor, I had it, so I must have been asymptomatic, and I probably got it when my mom and her husband have it. Um, had it because I was with them the whole time and right next to them, like within inches of them. Um, oh, Janice sent me the sunglasses on Discord. Then she might have sent that on the DM. Let me see here if I can read some of these. I wish I had enough people following already that I had the super chats up. That way it'd be easier to answer questions. But we can do it this way. Let me see. Job, can we? But technically, yes, you can, Meanie. You know my view on the Taliban. I know your view. We all know XMC's view. It's all pretty much the same. Fuck them. Katai, I was told to get it, but I told them they can find me if they want. Okay, yeah, yeah. It's a touchy subject. I didn't want to take it because I wanted to wait for a true and real. I'm not sure about all, because it's hard to get good news on it because one side says this, one side says that, one side does this, one side does that, and I hate that fact. Um, and the problem is, who are we going to trust? Okay, so I'm not a doctor, so but I do know a lot about virology. I did take virology courses in college, by the way, in my biology, life sciences, and all that fun stuff. So I have a general idea. I don't have a doctor's view on it. So, but the doctors lie to us, and then we have the conspiracy side, and then you have what's real, and it's somewhere in there that's real. I'm not sure what it does or doesn't cause because I don't know. I do know what it caused for me. I do know it messes with the T cell, and the T cell is directly linked with narcolepsy, and I have narcolepsy, which is one of the reasons I was apprehensive of taking it because could it make my narcolepsy worse? Also, I have an autoimmune issue. My immune system actually works too strong. Um, my immune system actually works too strong, so it does things like give me alopecia and it'll give me bald patches on my head. Uh, yeah, credit card. Thank you, Meanie. I mean, it's been years since I've had to cut that lawn, but I remember going out every week, every Saturday and Sunday. I'd mow the lawns, get them nice and trim. So, and then at 13, I was a bag boy at the PX and commissary. Um, and then there might have been about 2 years where I didn't work because we moved to California. And I started working at the flea market selling shoes. And after high school, I worked at Miller's Outpost for a while. You guys might not know what that is. It's sort of like Anchor Blue. They're out of business now, though, so I don't know. Yeah, you work for a surgeon. Yeah, Katai would know a lot because she works in the medical field too, and I know that is it Kayla? Kayla works in that too. Hello, Dirty's funny as hell too, guys, and he'll say what he thinks. By the way, yeah, we had the original SARS. Me and Dirty, we were talking about that the other day. We had SARS. We both of us, I believe, had H1N1, and I always get H1N1. I think that was the bird flu, and I had the swine flu too. I had all of them, but I don't catch colds a lot, and I don't really catch flus a lot. But when I do, it's usually something bad. So I'm like, well, I didn't really technically catch COVID because I had the asymptomatic version. So was it bad? I only catch the bad stuff. uh, the Taliban's were all fuckers that hit my truck with. Yeah, of course you're gonna. Yeah, I'm not a fan of any type of extremist group. It doesn't even matter. Taliban, Al Qaeda, even when you come to America and there's any type of extremist group on this side, just because an extremist group always ends up the same way. And I always try to tell people, so we got people on the far left and the far right. When I say far right, I mean actual far right, not what the media and them say far right. We're talking about so the actual anarchists, which are far right, and the actual communists, which are far left. The only difference between the two is how they get to the I can speak English, guys. Totalitarian government that they're going to end up with. In the communist side, they let it happen. On the anarchist side, someone bigger, better, and stronger comes by and takes over. That's just how it always works out. I don't know if you guys read Lord of the Flies. That's the anarchist side. That's how it always works out. Excuse me. Got a cough here. And then obviously on the communist side, they just let it happen because they think it's a good thing for some reason. It's one of the most evil things you could ever do is ask for, like I believe in equal opportunity. In other words, you're born, everybody starts with the same slate. But I do not believe in equity at the end because equity at the end is communism. And what you're trying to say is no matter how hard I work, the guy behind me, if he works less hard, he's still going to get the same outcome as me, and that shouldn't be the case. In other words, if I went and got the education, I should get the job and the pay raises. The other guy might still get the job too, but he's not going to get the same pay raises. He didn't do A, B, and C. I did A, B, and C. He went from A to C and skipped B, if you get what I'm saying. Also, I believe communism and socialism are stealing from one person to give to another, so I don't see the inherent good that a lot of other people see in it. I find it as inherently evil. And I think a lot of other people think about it that way too. Some people just can't explain it maybe in the same way. Yeah, basically, Desiree, merit-based. So, like I was saying, you earn stuff or you're given stuff. I don't really like to be given stuff, which is why it's really hard. Like we talked about with this, it was really hard for me to accept that, hey, I need some help just to get me on my feet. And I'm used to being earning that merit. You know, I went to college, I went to the military, Meanie went to the military. Dirty sitting there working his butt off, making sure his son gets a good education every day. You know, those things are merits. You know, those are like I did A, B, and C. I did A and B to get to C. I don't want to skip the steps. If you skip the steps, you don't get the same appreciation for something. If you work hard for something, you earn something, you appreciate that something. I got sports memorabilia up here when I was working and everything was going great. I was able to purchase it at a very, very, very cheap price because it was like on a Raz. So it's sort of like a lottery. You put $5 in, and everybody has a chance to do the spinning. And I was about to sell all of it off because of this too. But it meant something to me because I earned that, if you get what I'm saying. So it wasn't just mean something to me because it's my favorite football team and one of my favorite players and stuff like that. It actually meant something to me. So it was hard. I was about to do it, and if it comes down to it, I will because my son comes before me. I've already looked at it a little differently than everybody else. When I had my son, I said, okay, the rest of my life is my son's. It's not mine anymore. You know, I still got to live and everything, but it's my son's life now. It's not my life. Everything I do is going to be for him. And that's what I'm trying to do with my life. I'm trying to make sure everything I do will always be for him. Um, that's why I don't do things to go to prison. I mean, there's been times I wanted to do stuff that I knew would probably get me in trouble, and the first thought pops in my head, okay, well, if I'm in prison, I can't take care of my son. You know, if I'm in jail, I can't take care of my son. If I have a criminal record, it's going to be harder to take care of my son. All these things pop in your head. Um, and by the way, just so you all know, it was my son's birthday yesterday. Um, on Twitch, he's Skywise 1101, so 1101. So if you have a Twitch and you want to follow him, he just hit 15. He's bigger than me, so just make sure he doesn't get a big head and think he can take dad. Because that would be bad. He's seen me fight, though, so he's actually sort of scared of me. He said he don't ever want to get in trouble with me. But he's always been a very good kid. He's a straight A student. Outside of his stubbornness, which I have, I don't find anything wrong with my son. He's very, very good. He's very, very smart. And he does the work without me asking. I don't have to say, do your schoolwork and all that, so... otherwise, people will stop trying. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. Okay, so marks. Karl Marx, when he wrote his book, that was his thing. He thought in 1890s, which I think is when the book was written, he thought that all inventions that would ever be invented were invented already. That there would never be another innovation, which is why he thought communism would be perfect, because he knew that communism didn't breed innovation. It breeds complacency. So he thought, well, now we can do this because of this. Well, wrong, wrong. Our Moore's law tells us when it comes to like technology, every year, is every year or every 2 years? I think it's every year. Technology will double. So if you got something that runs 1 mile an hour, it'll run 2 miles an hour in a year. It'll run 4 miles an hour in 2 years. It'll run 8 miles an hour in 3 years, so forth. You guys get what I'm saying. Um, so he was wrong. He was absolutely wrong. His very premise for even wanting to have communism was wrong. So let's just put it that way. I'm very anti-communist, very anti-socialist, very anti-take other people's shit. I guess in that case you can call me very libertarian. I'm not a libertarian, but in that particular case, I think all of us have the same view of if you leave me alone, I'll leave you alone. That's very libertarian view. That includes government, people. Don't compel my speech. If you're a nice enough person to me, and you don't beg for it and treat me like crap, I'm more than likely, if you're that type of person, I'm going to call you she, even if I know biologically you're male. But because of the people that want to try to force it, it makes it harder on us. We don't want to give into it, and you can blame those people. There's no one else to blame on it but those people that want to do that. I did boy, my eyesight would. That's why I'm wearing these blue glasses here. I did graduate high school and almost hold an associate's. Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, Dirty's actually pretty smart. He plays off like he's dumb. He's a redneck from Alaska living in Oregon. Rock Mill sounds sweaty. Voir Tech. Yeah, I'm actually a very tech person, by the way. That's what I do for a living. Oh, hey, Visit's here. There's another guy in the clan, by the way, guys. And I actually wanted to do this for him because he's a mod on my Twitch also. So put that on for him. So you should be blue now, Visit, when you type. He plays, he's at work right now, so he may not be able to communicate too much. If I remember correctly, he had work starting at 1 o'clock. So, but yeah, if you got questions, ask the questions. You're never late for the Q&A. Ask as many questions as you want, Viz. Viz is a very funny guy. He has this soundboard, so he doesn't really speak so much on our streams, but he has a soundboard. He'll play the sound, these weird sounds and stuff coming off of it. Yeah, definitely ask, Viz. Definitely ask. Just whatever you want. And anybody else who has any question, it doesn't matter what you ask. It could be something stupid, silly, something you want to know about me. I'm an open book. I don't hide anything from anybody. I literally don't. I'll say I'm a very, very nice guy, but I'm also a very big asshole. The way I look at it is, if you're a nice person and you're treated poorly, you're going to be a bigger asshole than your average asshole. I think you guys could probably agree with that. But yeah, go ahead and ask away, Viz, man. Come on, give me some questions. It'd be easier to talk. I feel like I'm rambling on, but hey, whatever works. I did do the pop out, so I don't always see how many people are watching. So if people are watching and I don't see, I apologize. And for whatever reason, my little thing that's supposed to tell me when people like and stuff isn't popping up for my XSplit. I probably have to reset it because I did an upgrade for the XSplit before I came in, and it completely deleted all my other info, and I had to restart. That's why I was a little late coming in myself. Camilla. Yeah, thanks for popping in. I want to say the last name is Delantis. It's or Deloritas. Even with the pop out, the lettering is a little small. I mean, I could change my screen resolution, but that might mess with some other stuff. So if you see me, the computer I'm streaming off of is right in front of me, right here where my hand is. And you see me looking over to the side over here. Let me see if I can get the finger in there. Over here, that's because that's where I'm reading the comments and stuff from you guys. And then in the background, I'm not playing right now, but that's just a previous stream I did on Facebook. That way we'd have something in the background. You didn't have to see my completely ugly face. Favorite food, spaghetti. Bar none, bar none, bar none. I can literally eat spaghetti every day. I've done it before where I've eaten it for a week straight. If you make a good spaghetti, I am at your house every night. Now, if you want to go for favorite types of food, in other words, if you group them all together, like ethnics, I have a toss-up on that. I love Mexican and Chinese food, and Korean food too. Any Asian food for that matter. But yeah, you can get me on grande asado burrito or chow mein's my favorite in Chinese if you make that proper. Kung pao chicken, stuff like that. But my single dish would be spaghetti, probably followed by a good fried fish, any type of fried fish. If you fry it properly, I'll love you forever. And then ethnic wise, probably Mexican and Asian foods are my favorite. Do you play instruments? Yes, I play the drums. I'm not very, very good. uh, we did a stream where I sent you XMC, and he did the stream with that. That was me on the drums because the drummer got sick, and recording time is very expensive. But I can play any percussion. So drums, I studied mostly on the trombales, which is two snare drums with the two cowbells. I can play the congos, the bongos. Oh my God, I forget what the name of it is. You know the metal thing? It looks like the top of the 55-gallon barrel, and they put their little dings in it. That's literally what it is. They cut it out and they make those. I can play that a little bit. Not particularly great at it, but I can make it at least sound like a person that's not off pitch, if you want to say. But yes, I play some instruments. I want to learn. I really want to learn how to play guitar and maybe bass, but I usually don't have a lot of time in my day, so. That's just one of our couple of days ago. I think it's December 5th. It's one of the games we played a few days ago there, Dirty. I have it streaming so that way I'm not playing anything right now. You see my hands right here, so, and you see he's running. So that's just one of our streams in the background. I figured it'd look a little nicer than just seeing my face and have something going on. Plus, like I said, you can see up there, that's my Facebook gaming channel. The Time on My Side GDZ Gaming Fam. For those who have Facebook, I know some of us don't, and I agree on the reasons why you guys don't. Matter of fact, I almost left them, but when I started doing the gaming thing, it was the easiest platform. Dirty plays something similar to that American Truck Simulator. What was it called again, Dirty? But that's something we're actually looking at getting into. I do have a PC, and when I get that going, in other words, when I get a desk, I haven't bought a desk because I was saving my money during the unemployment thing because I was worried about exactly what did happen, running out of money before I got a job. So I didn't buy a desk. My computer, my $1,500 computer, that's worth closer to $4,000 since my video card's worth $3,500 now, is sitting over there in a box, waiting for a desk. But that's something that Dirty wants to play, and I'm thinking once we get the computer and I'm able to get his computer going, then we'll do that. Yeah, SnowRunner, that's the game he plays, and it's very similar to the simulator, except for I think you're trying to get through trails and stuff, various things in the snow, on the mountains and stuff like that. You get various types of vehicles. And Dirty wants me to play, and at some point, you know what, I think I'm going to have to, because I have anger issues, and those type of games probably calm me down. So if I'm having a bad day and I just want something relaxing, that probably would be better. Yeah, it's called SnowRunner. He plays on the PS4, but I believe you can get SnowRunner on the PC, right, Dirty? I'll wait for Dirty to answer that. Yeah, and on Xbox, and I believe you can get it on the PC too. Um, we will be doing PC gaming at some point. Like I said, I have my PC, um, and I do have a gaming laptop, which is I'm streaming off of. That's my stream section or whatever. And it has a cheap camera on it, which is why it doesn't look great, guys. We will be getting better cameras and stuff like that later on. I got to make sure monetarily life is better than it is right now. So, but this at least gets me to be able to stream for you guys. Um, oh, by the way, Dirty, her boyfriend, you got to give him the link, Desiree. I got to find the link again. I don't think I signed up for it, so I need the link again too. But her boyfriend sings, and he sings really, really good. Now it's country, um, but he sings really, really good. Like he did Conway Twitty's, probably his most popular song, which for some reason the title is slipping my head. I listened to the other day. I thought he did it better than like Conway did also. But he does country and he sings really, really well. And she would probably love it if you guys listened to it, by the way. Trying to tow your truck out of the mud and snow. I might find that a lot more fun than just watching and playing it because, I mean, I did a lot of mudding in Florida. We have that clay sand dirt. And when you go mudding out there, you'll know. I got to make sure I keep track of time. 2:17. Okay. Um, oh, if you want to hear a lot of curse words, you got to watch me playing my game there, Des. You've seen me on Twitch and a little bit on YouTube, I believe. Uh, I make a sailor blush. We got a new gear shift at PC for Truck Simulator. He could actually stream that too if you wanted to, Des. If you guys wanted to stream stuff like that, people watch that. We have one of the guys on Facebook. That's pretty much all he plays is Truck Simulator, and he's got a pretty good following even. But if you want to be able to keep in contact with certain people, streaming like that can sometimes be your way of contact. Like initially, that was almost what it was for me and Dirty. Is when I started streaming originally, it was more just to hang out with my buddies, and it's still to hang out with my buddies. But I've found that it can be profitable, and I like to play games anyways, and people like to watch. So why not give them something to entertain them, you know? And I prefer me entertaining them than say I don't know the actual actors and stuff who we already know what I think about actors. Bitching about a truck getting stuck. Yeah, you can mod all sorts of crap on the PC side of that. Usually plays. I can't read that first word on Xbox. Oh, with cousins. Yeah, and that's what I was doing when I lived in New Mexico to keep up with my cousins and stuff because I didn't talk to my family. Uh, that's how I keep up with my cousins. I'd be playing Xbox and a couple of them would pop on. The ones I actually would talk to, like my cousin Steve, who was here yesterday. Um, and he's very non-judgmental type guy. Like you do what you do, and he's very in that respect. Like we were talking about libertarian view. In that respect, that's what he would be. He's like, just leave me the hell alone. I'll leave you the hell alone. Oh, it's like PUBG. I don't think I've seen that one. I know PUBG, but I don't think I've seen. I thought you said cousins. Well, it's called Crest Foad now. I used to play with a guy named Foad. We called him Foad from Britain. Cuisine, I'm guessing. Oh, it's like a food. Oh, yeah, okay. I told you the lettering on this is like tiny. I don't know why they have it so small. I even have the pop out and completely blown up. Yeah, I enjoyed it, and I'm not a huge country fan. There's a few songs here and there, but if you can sing, as I've gotten older, it's pretty much if I like the sound, I'll like the song. It doesn't matter what genre it is. And the older I get, I'm noticing more and more because I didn't listen to rock at all as a kid. Now, a lot of what you hear me listening to is rock, whether it's AC/DC, Poison, some alternative band like Nirvana, Guns N' Roses, and a lot of the rap I'm not a big fan of anymore because they go to that mumble rap stuff, which is pretty much what I'm doing right now. What I'm doing right now, what I'm doing right now, what I'm doing right now, what I'm doing right now is mumble rap because they just rap, rhyme. They sound like they're talking and they rhyme with the same word over and over again. Well, I ate a cat and then I went to the cat and the cat. Well, the cat, everybody. Oh, crappy ass music. It's not even music to me. It's like talking and rhyming with the same word. I don't know. The control and the alt button at the same time. Yeah, but I'm worried. See, I already know some of these things dirty. Yeah, control and the plus button. But what I'm worried about, I'm gonna try it anyways. What I'm worried about is it blowing it out, and I have to try to get it back. But let me see. This is a different keyboard than my other one, so I have to see where the plus. There it is. Okay, that's a little better. I was able to do it step by step instead of the big blowout. Okay, serious question. How many years were you in? Well, I wasn't in the Army. I was in the Air Force. I was in two different times, two and two. Um, so I was out the first time in '98, and then again in 2003. Reason being is after 9/11 happened, they called. I was already past my 2 years. Okay, we're gonna speed something up real quick, just real quick. Give me 1 second, so you guys aren't watching the "Be Right Back" sign, which could be there for a while. This must have been a midnight break. Oof, yeah, it's a long break. There we go. Let me get back to here. Um, they actually called me back and asked me if I'd come back because they didn't have a guy who did what I did, and most of my time was spent in Afghanistan, a little bit in Iraq, and training Airman Doss to do what I did. He was the guy I went to tech school with, so I knew him very well. They let me pick who I wanted to take do what I did. So a lot of my time was doing training him on. I did a lot of forward recon with a sniper. Basically, all I'm doing is like if we knew we were going to travel somewhere the next day, we would. I would go out, make sure there was no IEDs in a certain area. Then I would sit the whole rest of the night up in the rocks, up in the dirt, up in the sand, hiding, making sure nobody else would plant anything. So that's what it was forward recon to make sure that the thing would be safe. And then I would sit there until all the trucks passed. So that's why I said I did a lot of 16-hour nights because I would go out just before night, make sure the road was clear, go find a spot to basically where I had good vision and hide in that spot and pretty much stay up the whole night and make sure nobody planted anything or anything like that. So that was my biggest thing. I wish I was a pilot. I wanted to. It's not called palace chasing. That's what it's called when you switch from full time to guard unit or reserve. But it's something similar. You would take an incentive flight. I want to do an incentive flight in an A-10, but to do an incentive flight in an A-10, you needed a two-seater, and there was only 3 two-seaters ever made. One was the one the guy wrecked on purpose into the mountains in Colorado. One was, I think it was in Virginia in a museum, and the other one was all the way in Virginia too. And by the time I got the okay, so a total of 4 years basically. It was fun and difficult, but like Manny had said earlier when he was talking about our viewpoints on things like the Taliban, there's a reason we have our viewpoints like that. We saw a lot of shit we didn't like, and that's why when I laugh every time XMC talks about Afghan National Army, because he's dead on right, dude. We would have targets 10 to 20 feet away. They couldn't hit the targets from 10 to 20 feet away with the weapons. They couldn't hit them with the AKs they were issued, because they had AKs, most of them. But even if you gave them an M4 or an M16, which is very, very accurate, they could not hit them. There'd be a few here and there sprinkled through that were decent, but these guys were just horrible. It was like bullets spraying everywhere. I was scared to stand behind them. I thought a bullet was going to do a U-turn and hit me. They were bad. And I thought maybe after I left they would have gotten better. I mean, that was, what, 17, 18 years ago now? Are they still that bad? Yeah, I wish, like I said, if you want to ask me what my favorite airplane is, it is the A-10. Not only can it destroy any armor you have on the ground, it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it's radars, tanks. You put a sub there, it'll blow right through a sub. If you could get close enough to a ship, because most ships are heavily guarded with things like, I think it's called Aegis, which is the sort of the same thing they have on the front of the A-10. It's like a Gatling gun, but it's all computer controlled. If you can get it close enough to a ship, it would destroy a ship for the most part. We're talking about 30 millimeter bullets, and these huge bullets, and they're not just like that. This 30 millimeter cannon just ripping through metal. But also, it was one of the best things for if we got in a firefight, and the enemy was close or closing in, or we're outnumbered, and you called in, because there was always A-10s somewhere nearby, and sometimes certain helicopters like the Apache and stuff that would be nearby, and you would call in for air support. And usually, like our unit, and I'm pretty sure most units did, we waited until we knew there was pretty much no other way out. So it was always going to be danger close. So you would call it in, danger close, 0.22 to 0.48, you know, that would be latitude, longitude. And that might be one longitude, latitude off of where you're at. Or you would, some of the ones that were real good that knew the battlefield, you could just say something like danger close, 20 degrees north of position. Because they would know where our position is. They knew 20 degrees north would be this way, and they would see the enemy as they came in, pitch their nose, and you would just hear, and either bodies would go flying, because when they got hit, they would blow up and fly in the air, and if not, you would see them running and screaming, because they were terrified of the A-10, with the 50, 50 cal. 50 cal Barrett, yes, that was my secondary. The Remington was the primary. Just because it was lighter. Technically, it's more accurate. They say bolt actions are more accurate. I was just as accurate with the Barrett, even though it was a semi-auto. That's why I was telling somebody not too long ago, you'll know when you hit somebody with a Barrett, especially if you hit them in the head, because it literally does explode. There's too much pressure coming from the bullet when it hits its target. So you might get a hole like this big, and no, I'm not playing the cornhole game, and I'm not doing a racial sign or anything, but you might blow a hole in somebody this big in the front with a 50 cal. In the back, his back will be gone. There won't be any back. That's the exit wound. It blows out. There's just too much pressure, which is why 50 cal wouldn't be a good gun for hunting, because half your meat would be gone. But I used to tell people, because my primary on base or on station, while I'm actually on the base, was not the sniper. It was the M60. And I could tell you the people I hit versus the people the M16 hit, because the M16, they would just sort of collapse. But if I hit them, they sort of flew, because you're talking about a much bigger bullet, a 7.62 round, which was, I want to say, about yay big. I got tiny hands, but about yay big. So if you compare it to your face, roughly from my chin up to my forehead with the casing, where the M16 was... yeah, that would be about right. My chin to my nose. Give you an idea what a .223, 5.56 round is. So you would know the difference. You could see somebody. That's probably why XMC liked being on his 50 cal so much, because if he ever hit anybody, he would know. If he could see the person that he hit, you would know. That guy would somewhat explode and somewhat go backwards, whereas the M16, M4, those smaller rounds, which did enough damage to kill people. That's why I don't know why people argue using them. It's a very accurate round. I'd rather be accurate than have power. if I had to choose between the two, because you're not killing nothing if you're not hitting it. So, but you would know. I would know when I hit somebody with the M60. That's how they did potential kills and stuff like that. Ask him about Grandpa Viz. That's a cool story, also. Oh, LL, right? Yep, for sure. Oh shit, that actually sick. And what about your grandpa as well? Oh, my grandpa was a engineer gunner, World War II, with the Army Air Corps, on the B-26 Marauder. It's a medium bomber. It's called a fighter bomber because it can move pretty well. But it was a medium bomber. If you look on my channel here, you'll see the interview with the pilot. That was his pilot. He did an interview. I read the whole thing off for everybody. But he run. They got some presidential citations and awards. They won a lot. They did some bombing for Patton. Part of the reason that Dachau um, internment camp, concentration camp, was freed was them bombing it. Um, he did something that even the pilot wouldn't tell me. That said that they couldn't pay him back for. My guess is somehow he saved their life. That's usually what they reserve that particular saying for. But the most interesting battle he was ever in was against General Galland, who was a German fighter ace. It was the last time the Me-262s were flown. Those were the German jets. The very last flight, and General Galland was shot down by one of our fighter pilots that was escorting the bombers. Um, so you could actually find that all through history. My grandpa, the nicest guy you'll ever meet. Oh my God, he passed away in 2015. But if you had got to meet him, he's the nicest guy you'd ever meet. I could never see him doing what he had to do there. Um, but he talked about it. He talked about going into Dachau, and he talked about seeing the bloody footprints in these rooms that were 6 feet high because they ran out of fuel to burn these bodies, and which is why I take offense when people like the New York Times want to say, "Oh, the Holocaust never happened," blah blah blah. I'm like, my grandfather saw it. My grandfather saw these Jewish and political prisoners that were in these concentration camps and how skinny they were, how malnutrition they were. So my grandfather was badass. My dad didn't get to see too much action. He spent 23 years in the Air Force, retired after 23 years as a Chief Master Sergeant, which is the highest rank, E9. He did get to bug out during Vietnam, and I always get the cities wrong. I'm bad with cities. Saigon, I believe it was, when they had to bug out. He was part of that. Um, and outside of doing support, like for Grenada and a few other things that happened in the early '80s and stuff like that, he really didn't get to see. He was comm squadron, and what he did was a lot of communication stuff, so he wasn't usually in the fray. Um, my uncle, his brother-in-law, he also saw some in Saigon, but he got out of the military pretty fast. I'm trying to think who else. Now, my uncle Gentry, my great uncle, my grandma's brother, he was in the army, and he was a cameraman during Vietnam, and he was the cameraman for. I want to say the guy's Westmoreland. Was he the general? They finally found out and call him a big liar because he lied about a lot of crap. But he was the cameraman for him in Vietnam. And for anybody who doesn't know, cameramen don't carry weapons. Their only weapon is the camera. So I consider that being a badass. And then after he left the military and came back to the States, he worked for news groups. I think when he retired, he was with ABC as a cameraman. Yeah, he was a badass. But if you get a chance, it's a long video. I think it was 2 hours long because it took a long time to read the interview. You see how much of a badass that whole generation was. Because I read the interview from his pilot, which is Captain Wilson. His real name was Thomas Wilson. I think his middle name was Don because he went by Don, and that's who my dad's named after. My dad's name is Don. My dad was named after his pilot. I did get to talk to his pilot after my grandfather died. I'm pretty sure he's passed away since because he was already in his 90s. Um, he lives in one of the islands, or lived. I'm not sure, like I said, if he's alive still or not. In Seattle, one of those islands in the Puget. Oh, and I hate to be cameraman. Must be, yeah, dude. That's got to be scary as hell. Yeah, and I feel with my dad, who didn't spend a lot of time in the actual battle stuff, Desiree. Um, we did a lot of moving about every 8 months until I was in second grade. Every 8 months. So we lived in Taiwan, Guam, Japan, Philippines, Hawaii, New York, the Azores. Yeah, I can't even remember all the places. We lived in so many places. By the time I hit second grade in 1980, 81, um, when we moved to Texas, and I finally lived somewhere for almost 8 years, I had lived pretty much all over the world. Then I joined the military. Um, Obviously, you go to Lackland, San Antonio, so Texas again. Um, was Texas. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, obviously we were stationed in Georgia too, because I was born in Georgia. There's a question answered if anybody had asked. Um, I was actually born in the States in Georgia. I was the very first one on my mom's side. My mom's a Portuguese immigrant. People who don't know, she immigrated here the same year I was born. Her entire family immigrated here in 1973, the year I was born. But I was born in Marietta, Georgia. I often say I was the only good thing to ever be made in Georgia because I don't like any of their sports teams. And people always asking, "You're born in Marietta, which is basically Atlanta. How come you don't like the Falcons and the Hawks?" And I just never did. I grew up. I didn't grow up there. I grew up moving, so all my teams are in different areas. I'm a Sixers fan. I'm a Saints fan. I'm a Florida Gators fan. Um, I'm a Sharks fan for hockey. So you see, I'm all over the place. I moved all over the place. Yeah, if you're a submariner, or if you're I forget the other boatsman's name. There's other boatsmen's for like the carriers and stuff like that. They constantly stay almost with the same ship, but they're always moving, always moving. That ship's going to be in dock for a year here, a year there, a year here. Those guys, I have a lot of, even though people pick on the Navy a lot, and I pick on the Navy a lot, I do have a lot of respect for one thing they do. They are constantly away from home, constantly away from their family. I mean, 8 months. It's average of something like 8 months out of every year they're on a ship somewhere. 8 months, dude, being away from your family, all but 4 months of a year. That's tough. You know, you might as well be at war. You know, at least you'll have something to do. Sucks that the last few wars didn't have much for them to do. I mean, there's not really any water in Afghanistan, and it's not really any. You know, so they got to spend their time usually in the China Sea dealing with China, which I don't know what's going to happen with China. Yeah, it's got to be tough, dude. I spent a lot of time. Okay, so when I was in, I personally I started in Texas because of San Antonio. I went to Keesler Air Force Base in Biloxi, Mississippi. Got stationed in Mountain Home, Idaho, which is pretty close to Boise. I went to Bahrain for a short stint. Um, well, I was still stationed in Idaho, but you know we do a lot of TDYs. You got to go places. I went to Bahrain for a short stint. I spent about 6 months in Panama doing drug warfare. Just me and my supervisor, so only two of us with the DEA agents. Um, and then, of course, when I went back in, it was Afghanistan, Iraq. While I was still technically stationed in Idaho. I'm trying to think where else I've been. It was, I want to say it was North Carolina where I did my sniper school for the Air Force because they have their own sniper school. But the new one, the one they finally got permanent because it was still new back then, I want to say it's either in Kansas or Missouri. I think it's Kansas. I'm not 100% sure because I was already out by then. Um, but yeah, we do the same stuff as the other school too. So it's really weird. We just don't use the same school. Even the test to pass is the same. You know, they have one guy who's walking around and another guy with a um, God, Jesus Christ! I keep getting telescope and microscope in my head, and I know it's binoculars. Thank you, Jesus Christ, brain. With binoculars, and if the guy with binoculars is telling the guy that's walking around where to go, and if he tells him to stop and he points, then you failed and you have to redo the test. Um, so it's the same test. I passed. I think everybody in my class passed, if I remember correctly, on the first try. Um, my specialty was hiding, actually. Although I was a very good shot, my specialty was hiding. I was able to camouflage myself very well, which was to be a really good sniper, at least an old school sniper, the way they do it now is way different. You had to camouflage yourself. Nowadays, it's like, well, we just want you to go over here and take a peek at this. Don't shoot anything and come back. So what you saw in their hurt locker was sort of real, where they were in that thing and they wanted to shoot, and the guy wanted credit for taking them out with some missiles. I would have told him that I would have made a compromise. Look, right before those things are about to drop the bombs, literally they're right there about to drop the bombs or missiles or whatever, let me shoot. That way I won't be giving away anything, nobody will be running, and I'll get my shot off and you'll get your bombs off. But, you know, it's what it is. Yeah, just water and fish. No windows or anything. No, you can't have windows on those boats because they got to be able to handle bullets and bombs and shrapnel and torpedoes, and especially with the Lemoore. Why am I trying to remember where that's at? My dad, we were stationed in Hawaii too. There was an Air Force base that's no longer there, and it was on one of the smaller islands. I don't remember if it was Waikiki or Kauai. I would have to ask my mom. I think it was Waikiki. For some reason, that one's popping in my head, but I was real young. Hey, Dirty's going to be jumping off. I'm going to be jumping off pretty soon, too. I've been on for a little bit more than an hour, and I want to make sure I don't interrupt movie night, which starts in about an hour. But I wanted to make sure I said this. It's just a huge thank you to the XMC fam and the others that helped me out. It really was a difficult time for me. It still sort of is. Sometime this week, I'm supposed to get my first check. It won't be big because it's only 3 days, but that'll hopefully keep me over the hump. And Viz, just so you know, Desiree is the one who convinced me to finally stop being so proud and accept a little help. And she's given the most out of the group. Not to say that the most means you're more special, but technically, yeah, true. She's helped me out the most, but everybody has helped in some way, whether they're praying for me, talking to me, make me feel better, um, helping me out monetarily, stuff like that. Um, for me, it's a big deal. Like I said, I most of the time I'm like, hey, just pray for me, I'll be good. But I knew this time I needed those prayers to be answered in a lot of different ways. And like I said, I'm a very religious guy. I think I'm going to do more of these Q&As, though, because it's interesting some of the questions people will have for me. And like I said, my grandpa or my family or anything for that matter. But yeah, I definitely going to do more Q&As. I might start doing where I'm streaming the actual game that you see me playing, like a game, where I'm trying to do a Q&A at the same time, or I'm asking you guys, what do you want me? What weapon do you want me to use? A sniper, or this, or that? And we'll try to use that. I'll try to do some tricks for you. Thanks for showing up there, Sandra. That's what it is. Bogus Pinted. That's his. He has a soundboard, and that's one of his things that he says all the time. That's actually his thing to say that yes, because he doesn't use his headset really. So if he says, like, if I ask if he has bullets, enough bullets, he'll say Bogus Pinted. If not, if he doesn't say anything at all, then I know he needs some bullets. You know, I've never been as good as I am at puzzles. I've never been good at Sudoku, but more because I never learned the rules to it. So if I go learn the rules, maybe I'll be pretty good at it because I'm good with puzzles. Crosswords, I'm 50-50 on, more because of my dyslexia. If for some reason my dyslexia is really bad that day. Oh, okay, so you'll hear me talk about my various, I don't want to call them diseases, but I don't know, not really so much handicaps either, but we make fun of it because a lot of people in my clan are actually handicapped. We have a guy who's got hemispherical cerebral palsy, another guy who was a motorcycle wreck, can't use half his body, stuff like that. I have narcolepsy, which is a sleep disorder. I am dyslexic, which we all know just means letters don't quite work the same way for me. Numbers as well. Sometimes pictures even. When I'm real tired, it gets worse. If I'm wide awake, it seems to be fine. And I am ADHD, like crazy ADHD. I'm hyper. I always want to talk. I always want to do this. I want to do that. Blah blah blah. You know. I do have IBS. That's irritable bowel syndrome for anybody who doesn't know. So my stomach gets upset real easy. It hurts a lot, and it's probably the most debilitating thing I have. I just never learned the rules to it, Biz. Like, I keep seeing those numbers, and I'm like, I don't see what those numbers mean. But I have to read the rules, and I'll understand what the numbers mean. It'll make more sense. I'll probably be pretty. I'm real good with puzzles. I have a brain that just sees puzzles differently, so I might be good at that. As for languages, because I see she's talking about your own language when they're talking over here. My primary language now, although I grew up, it's my fifth language, would be English. And the reason it was my fifth language is we did live overseas, and I knew all the Latin languages. My mom being Portuguese, I spoke Portuguese, Spanish, Italian, and French. So I spoke all those in English. I could speak all of them back in the day. I barely speak any French or Italian at all anymore. My Portuguese is pretty broken, and my Spanish is a little better than my Portuguese because I live in an area with a lot of Spanish people. But lately, my Portuguese has been getting better because when my mom has family members and stuff come over, I pay attention when they're talking, and I pick up the words that I forgot and stuff like that. So I still speak one language perfectly, and I speak two others well enough that if I was in Mexico, I wouldn't get lost and I'd be able to eat. Or in Portugal, same thing. In France, I could pretty much say, "Can you speak French?" Comment parlez-vous français, s'il vous plaît, monsieur? Italian, I just remember one thing about Italian, and that is that if they say something twice, they really mean it. So if they say bella twice, like bella, bella, they really mean pretty. It's really pretty, really beautiful. Not just saying that it's pretty. Oh, and I know the accents, so I can pick up the accents real well. I speak with accents very well. I used to know a little Korean, Yogoseo, Iruna Oshipshio, Irio Oshipshio. According to my stepmother, who's Korean, I speak with a Korean accent, so I don't know. I've never been to Korea myself. My dad stationed there a few times. Oh, you're learning French right now. Just French is very common, and the reason I like Portuguese is not very common. And you can understand French and Spanish if you can speak Portuguese. The Portuguese really sounds like Spanish with oatmeal in your mouth, which makes it sort of sound like French. Like they say burro for burro. Portuguese say bucho, like they use the back of their tongue. Now, in Spanish, restaurant is restaurante, restaurante, two rolled R's. Well, the Portuguese do both rolled R's, so restaurant from Portuguese is restaurante. So you get the and the r. And with French, it's a lot of slurring sounds. So if you speak like this, you'll pick it up a little bit better. Like I said, bonjour, comment parlez-vous français, s'il vous plaît, monsieur? Ah, sacre bleu. Okay, basically each line has 0 to 9, or might be 1 to 9 on each row and each corner. That much I understood, that they were trying to get to an outcome. I just didn't know what the outcome was supposed to be. Like if it's supposed to add up to something going in this row and then this row. Yeah, so French is a cool language. Learn any extra language you can because it'll always help you, if nothing else, in getting work later on. Uh, that's why I tell a lot of people, you know what, Spanish is overlearned and overused, but it's a very popular, it's probably the second most popular language right now in the world, outside of maybe some type of Arabic or something like that, which we don't use on this side of the hemisphere really. So if you learn Spanish over here, it's really good for job opportunities, stuff like that. But if you learn French and stuff like that, you might have an opportunity, say, being a translator for something like NATO or something like that too. You know what I mean? So you can get good at it. Okay, Visit's on his way out. I think I'm going to be on my way out too, guys. I am going to be streaming in probably an hour on my Facebook page and Twitch, Gaming with Dirty. I need to go and get gas. Desiree was nice enough, and Dirty was nice enough to give me a little bit of cash so I'd have gas for the next few days. Hopefully my check will be here tomorrow or Tuesday, and then I won't have to worry about it too much. It should be right around 300 bucks after taxes, I was thinking. It should hold me off for a while. Just got to hold me off until next Friday, basically. Um, So you can catch me on that. It's Time on My Side. You'll see on the description my fund for PayPal and my Cash App name if you want to use the Cash App. Um, and thank you again, everybody. It does mean a lot to me. I may not always say it or be able to say it in a good way. I'm not very good at showing certain emotions. So I'm good at showing anger. That's about it. I guess I'm very typical male in that sense. But I just wanted to make sure I said thank you to everybody. We will do this again so we can get more questions. And I love you all, and I will see you guys in a little bit, hopefully on my gamer stream.